Hello everyone, it's Crazy Validator with you again. Today we'll talk with the Ruwan from the Stargaze about the migration, the current situation and the future plans of the Stargaze. We also would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for staying with us and thanks for staking with us. Now let's back to the interview. Hello Ruwan, can you please tell us a few words about yourself and how you entered the crypto world?
Hey Quasar, first off, it's nice to see you and meet you and speak with you, and yeah, excited to finally chat with you and part of the Atom community again. A little bit about myself. When it comes to Stargaze, I've been here since October 2021, since before the chain launched, helping with compliance, some investor relations, and I then switched into more of like a community and onboarding role as the chain and the app launched. And as we got more people on, I switched into an operational role. And as Shane kind of took a step back now in the leadership role at Stargaze. Prior to that, though, my background is actually in media production. I went to film school and graduated with a degree in film and communications. And over the course of many years prior to Stargaze, I worked on some videos for different blockchain and crypto companies as well. And that's one way that I got more involved into the industry. So, I got involved probably back in 2016 or so. And it's just kind of been a little bit of a ride since then. My first job in crypto is Stargaze for the most part, outside of the contract work I did as a media producer.
Great story. Let's talk about the Stargaze now. What is going on with the Stargaze at the moment? What are you planning? What are you working on? And what are you preparing for us?
Yeah, so what's going on with Stargaze right now is the main thing is planning and executing the migration to the Cosmos Hub. So there's a lot of moving pieces from the technical side of things to the community and the social side of things. So we're building a new indexer where rewriting some of the contracts to be in a permissionless environment. We're working with a bunch of collections to have a launch event. There's also some edge cases when it comes to ICS 721 collections on how to migrate them to the hub or, to preserve their collections intact. And yeah, there's also going to be, a bit of a refresh on the front end as well. So there's a lot of work down the entire stack from technical to non-technical to front end to back end to operational. And we're going to also be working on the social media as well, right? To get more users, more creators, and bring value to Stargaze and Hub.
Okay, let's talk about the Stargaze token and Stargaze validators. What will happen to the token and the validator list? What are you preparing for the holders because they're worrying a lot about the current situation with the token?
Yeah, sure. So the Stargaze token will also migrate to the Cosmos Hub when Token Factory is live. The main focus right now is to migrate the NFTs and the collection. So that's the key that we're planning to do at the in Q1. So at the end of February, early March is the goal. I don't like to set specific dates because you already know how all these go, but Q1 will be the collection and NFT migration, and then Q2 will be the token migration. And we will, so they'll function very similar in that you won't be able to, there will be a snapshot, there will be a lock on transfers of NFTs, there will be a snapshot, and then there will be like an airdrop paid for the NFTs. And that'll work in a similar way to the token as well. Ultimately, the chain will sunset. That has to go through governance as well. If the community wants to keep the chain, I suppose they can, but it won't be supporting an application anymore, so there won't be as much value in there. I think we've also found out that, we created a whole lot of block space as a crypto community in general, but there aren't enough users or demand for all of that block space. So the consolidation is clearly happening, and I think it's a good thing. I think we'll be stronger together. In terms of validators, yeah, right now, I don't think it's actually very profitable to run a validator on Stargaze. So from a validation point of view, I think it'll help the validators to not have that extra cost to run the infrastructure. On a personal note, I'm actually like very connected, like to the chain. I was there from block 0 to block 1, and I'll be there till the final block, or maybe there won't be a final block, but it it's a little bittersweet, right, to sunset the chain. But I think we're moving to a bigger place, a better place, and more opportunity. The best analogy I think I heard is that you have this great store with all of these great items, but it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's difficult for people to get to that store. So if you could move this store from, let's say, the middle of nowhere, like in a forest in Siberia, right, to like Moscow, then you're gonna have more activity. There's gonna be more people that are gonna be going past your store, and overall, that's gonna be better for Stargaze. And I think it's gonna be better for the hub. I think that answers your question, but yeah, feel free to ask a follow-up.
Great, let's talk about the migration, how the migration will look like, and what will be the rate of the exchange, the current star token to the new star token.
Exactly. The plan right now is there will be a one-to-one migration. We do have the community pool as well, right? So we'll be putting up a proposal next year on more of the details, but the plan right now is for we need to give people time to move their stars back to the Stargaze chain, right? And so that will allow us to snapshot and then do an airdrop or claim on the Atom side. But yeah, one-to-one, we're considering breaking up the community pool. So we want to break it up into a couple different DAOs. And we also want to use part of the community pool on the Stargaze side to create a stable swap pool on Osmosis with the new token, that's stable swap 0 fee to take advantage of the liquidity that currently exists with the Stargaze token. Because if we migrate the token and we don't have a pool like that, then that liquidity is just also lost. So this will, allow the token to retain some level of liquidity.
Okay, what will be with the Atom token on the new Stargaze app? Because the main point of this migration was to use the Atom as the main token on it, but now you're talking about the new Star token, how it will be connected and what will be the difference between these assets.
Yeah, so Atom will be the default minting and trading token. And currently, I believe it has actually the most volume and usage on the Stargaze, application. One of the most unique features of Stargaze is the multi-denom launchpad and marketplace. It allows us to really be the interchain marketplace, right? So you can, mint and trade in TIA and USDC and Akash, BTC, right? And we want to still be able to retain that as options for the creator and the communities, right? So in terms of stars will also be an option, right? Like we won't abandon stars in that fashion. There's a lot of collections that have the name Stargaze in the title, like Stargaze Punks, Starcodes. There's a whole bunch of them that still like the token and want to be denominated in it and want to be able to trade in it. Some people just like the denomination because you could have currently like 500 stars is $125 or something like that, which some people like that. Some people want to retain Atom, and we just want to give people options. With that said, though, Atom is clearly the winner on Stargaze right now, and it will be the default.
Okay, let's move to the proposal discussion. And my question is why you declined the Magmar proposal with the lower operational fees for the migration?
Yeah, sure. No, yeah, the proposal discussion was a long one. I also want to underscore that I think there are 3 or 4 different proposals made by Stargaze and other community members to migrate Stargaze to the hub. So it's something that not just Stargaze wanted, it's something that the community in general wanted. I think they range from, like you said, Shane's proposal at like 15.5 million. And the one that passed was actually the lowest one that was proposed and put up for a vote. I think there were other ones at like 3.5 million, and maybe another one I forget. But yeah, Magma's post it wasn't a formal proposal, but it was an idea, and that's what we have, ideas in the forum, and it's there to discuss and iterate on. And his post basically had a lot of the same parts to it, just in a different composition, right? So the base payout was still, I think, around 1.5 million, just in different tranches placed in different places. And so we just we collaborated to come to a middle ground, right? So ultimately, the amount was the same. It was just distributed in different tranches. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a rejection. It was more of like a collaboration to come to consensus.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the RWA because it was a big announcement and it's completely new for the Stargaze and how it will work.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves on the RWA because we're focusing mainly on the migration, especially during the first half of the year. But RWAs do have a lot of promise, and that's something that we'll be working with Cosmos Labs and the general community to develop something new. The most difficult part about RWAs is really like the sales process, is like getting that client. We won't be building a bridge to nowhere. So we need to secure that client, and we need to see that there's something that somebody wants to build, and then somebody that wants to use it, and then we will be able to build it. But there's a lot of opportunities for RWAs, anything from financial instruments to actual like real assets, like real estate. You see mantras over there as well. There's payroll companies. There's a lot of like idle capital sitting around as well. But yeah, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and say exactly what we are working on, because the main thing that we're working on right now is the migration, and securing those contracts and those partnerships is the most difficult part of it, right? Like there's a lot of legacy institutional kind of paperwork and logistics to deal with to bring those on chain. But yeah, we're committed to doing that.
What are the benefits for the top tier collections after that migration? Because the main collections are making the value for the Stargaze.
Yeah, so I mean, we're here to promote and support all of the collections on Stargaze, right? I think moving to the hub in and of itself is going to be a benefit. Like right now, to be involved with Stargaze, you have to first kind of be interested in Cosmos, and then you have to be interested in NFTs, and then you have to find Stargaze. And there's a whole lot of levels of abstractation going down to that, and we lose people every step of the way. So by moving Stargaze to the hub, we kind of inject ourselves into one of the top 100 chains, by market cap. And we are going to have support from the Cosmos community, Cosmos Labs. And at the moment, I've kind of been joking a little bit where it would be the only application, like the main flagship application on the hub. So for a moment in time until other applications deploy on the hub will be an NFT app chain, as it'll be the main application there. So yeah, we will be supporting the creators during the migration process, and yeah, Stargaze would be nothing without the creators and the NFTs that they made. We love them and we want to see them succeed.
Will Stargaze have a promotional program for the current collections and the new ones? Because many people worrying a lot about it, especially if they have the strong community among the NFT collection, but they are not top tier trading collections at the moment.
Any kind of promotion on the Stargaze Twitter handle or on the website, but we do highlight projects that are featured and non-featured, very frequently. They rotate in and out. We'll be bringing on new people to help with content writing and creation as well. And And yeah, we want to support all the projects, especially if they're active, if they're very creative, and they bring in people, right? Like it's for Stargaze's benefit to support the active projects and the active collectors and the active creators. Like there's no reason for us to want to ignore them, like diminish them anymore. And I do want to say we do have a really great team at, at Stargaze who works with the creators day in and day out to make sure they're successful. So I know we have a lot of creators, and I know it's hard to please every single person, but we really do our best, and we do communicate with people. With that being said, it's also up to the collection and the creator to bring in the audience. There's only so much that Stargaze, our marketplace itself, can do by giving visibility, right? Like it's like we can give you the opportunity on Stargaze, but you also have to put in the legwork to make it a success. Like we didn't make Bad Kids a success. A lot of people think that we secretly have our fingers on Bad Kids, or we're doing something behind the scenes, but all of that was very organic. All of that just kind of grew through time and what Portland would say, being bad and having no roadmap. And there's success. The slots obviously built with the support of Celestia and Zaki, and the way they also did their launch as essentially a free mint was very successful. I think there's one TIA, and no one minted it right for the first like 20 or 30 minutes, and then bam, it was all out.
Great, let's move to a bit bad topic about the NFT in general and how to prevent the Rugpull collections on the Stargaze, because there's a lot of it and it's kind of bad marketing for the Stargaze in overall.
Yeah, this is one of the benefits or consequences of having a permissionless launchpad in marketplace is that anyone can launch a token really at any time. And there are a lot of spam collections for sure. But through giving people the opportunity and not restricting them, we'll see a lot of really great projects also rise. And something that we could, possibly do that we've been light on is the curation of some of these projects. So that may be something that we work on with this new iteration on migrating to the hub, is try to separate out or what we feel as if is a more promising projects to give more visibility to them. It's a bit of a mixed bag, right? Because you don't want to be too heavy on the curation, and then that may end up hurting real creators who are trying really hard, that we may not see their artistic or their community vision. With that said, yeah, for sure, there's definitely people who will launch a collection, try and like get liquidity and then just like run, just like people do with meme coins. I don't think there's any way to completely stop that. But I think there's a way for us to maybe help curate a little bit more on the front end, to kind of like we do with the highlighted collections, or we do with some of the featured collections. We used to do, when Stargaze first launched, there was such a demand that we had 4 featured projects a week. And we taper that down to 2 projects a week, 1 project a week, and now it's only when we feel as if the project or the creator are really solid and have a lot to offer is when we will feature them. So they could be less than once a month to whenever we feel as it's good to feature them.
Okay, let's talk a bit about incisive programs, because every project now have some kind of incisive, and will Stargaze have one for the big creators to make them work better and make a better collections awaiting Rugpull launches?
Yeah, for sure. We are speaking with creators from other ecosystems, or people who have not launched collections at all. And we want them to launch on the hub. In terms of incentives, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet, or if there'll be in incentives, to be honest with you. Whenever a new product gets launched, they're generally, there's generally like the opportunity for them to, gain some market share. But we're open to it. We also know that like incentives can be short-lived and they may attract the wrong kind of person. So we want to be like very mindful of how they are handled and how they're distributed. Um, with that said, though, yeah, sometimes you have to incentivize a little bit to get products. But I will say that most of the top collections or most of the most active ones we've ever had have not ever gotten any type of incentive, right? If you go to like the top 10, 20 collections on Stargaze, none of them have ever received an incentive. So I think that there has to be some interest and passion and like demand from the creator and like the community side for it to happen.
Okay. Let's move to the benefits for the Cosmos Hub. And the question is, what are the benefits for the Cosmos Hub after that migration? Because we all clearly understand that there are a lot of great points for the Stargaze after that migration, but what will Cosmos get in the return, and how Stargaze will earn money and attract new users for the Cosmos?
Yeah, sure. So Stargaze will be the first flagship app on the Cosmos Hub that's retail focused, right? I think right now the only thing you can mainly do on the Cosmos Hub is stake transfer, and there's also DAO, which, by the way, great tool. Big shout out to Noah for developing that and maintaining it. We use it all the time. A lot of Stargaze creators use it for their DAOs. Really great product. Does not exist anywhere else in blockchain. Nothing like that is on Ethereum. I've used a couple of DAO products on Ethereum, not that great, but it is very much a niche product, and you have to be deeper down, like go further down the levels to use that product. Stargaze is retail focused. Whenever you make a new Kepler wallet, you're presented with applications that are like things you can do. And there's always the Cosmos Hub, there's Osmosis, and then there's always Stargaze. So Stargaze has always been one of the most used applications in Cosmos. And I believe the transaction count, from what I saw before, would increase the amount of transactions on the hub by roughly 30%. You could maybe fact check me on that. So that in and of itself is bringing value to Atom by increasing transactions, increasing Atom utility, and giving back Atom to stakers and validators as more people are transacting with Atom on the hub. And we're also, going to be adding new features to Stargaze. We'll be working on new products for Stargaze that will add more utility. The hub has basically gotten, a great product and a great team to develop on it, and we intend to follow through on everything that we said we would. With that said, also there's the community aspect of it, right? We didn't really talk a whole lot about that. Atom is already a large community. Stargaze is also a large and active community, and they're coming together now to be even larger and more active. I don't know if there has been a whole lot of creative or artful stuff happening on the hub, but we have a lot of that side of the coin here that I think people will be excited to work with the Atom community as well.
Nice. Let's talk a bit about the NFT utilities in general, because a lot of Stargaze collections, they're valuable because they're eligible for the airdrops. But as we can see now, there are not many airdrops campaigns at the moment, and a lot of collections going to the zero. How to make this situation better, and what do you think about the airdrop meta overall?
Yeah, I guess I don't really have an answer to what to do with the situation. We don't really control the airdrops, right? We don't know when they're happening, how they're happening, or which collections that will be affected. Yeah, there could potentially be airdrops in the future, but like you said, like it seems if that airdrop meta is not really happening, I guess, right now. I think a lot of people, like you said, they may get these incentives and then they just dump these incentives. I think I saw something about the Monad airdrop where like 95% of the people just kind of, sold their tokens within the first couple of weeks. I think there were maybe like 5 or 10 wallets that maintained the original amount. So the people, when they're designing these distribution mechanisms, they're either doing less of an airdrop, right, or no airdrop, or like a longer airdrop duration. So yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to the airdrop meta with NFTs, I don't know where it will go. Possible it could come back, because the entire idea behind targeting, the entire idea behind the airdrops for NFTs was to target active community and active, crypto native Web3 people. It was tried. There was somewhat of a success, and now I think people are taking their learnings and figuring out how to move forward and to do airdrops or token distributions for the future. And yeah, I guess when it comes to the NFTs themselves, I always tell people to buy or mint something that you're interested in, not for some type of future speculative value. I think if you do that, you will be happy with what you get. And just don't expect an airdrop by buying an NFT is probably a good way to end that. I will say one more thing, as more applications come onto the hub and they may get tokens, they will be looking to target active users. And right now, the main thing you will be able to do is to mint and trade NFTs on Stargaze. So, I don't know what the future will hold. I don't know what other new applications will pop up there, but I bet they will try to get the active users from other applications to use their applications in one form or another.
Okay. Let's move to our last question. What are your predictions for the future of the Cosmos Hub and Stargaze?
The future of Stargaze and the Cosmos Hub. Stargaze will complete its migration in 2026. We will help launch new creators and attract new community. And I think by working together with the Cosmos Hub, we will grow together. I think there will be new applications launching on the Cosmos Hub. I think Stargaze is going to be the first of many. I've already heard inklings of different projects that want to launch or that have intentions of doing so. So I think 2026 is going to be the year of applications on the hub, right? And I think 2027 will see more growth of those applications and the user base on the hub. This stuff doesn't happen overnight, right? Like a lot of this will take time to build out, but we've been here since the beginning, right? For the most part. Like I've been here pretty much since 2020, 2021 on Cosmos. And we'll continue to be so, building and supporting creators and application builders and everyone else who will deploy in the hub. So I'm really excited for the future. Really excited for what we're bringing and the future and the new direction of the hub.
Great, thanks for joining us today, Ruwan. It was a pleasure to talk with you. I hope the Stargaze will be a very successful app on the Cosmos Hub, and we are all waiting for you to launch as soon as possible.